Okay, you guys sent word by your rep that you would like some guidance on the application for the NCLEX. So I have been working on putting a PowerPoint together. It took me a little longer than I thought it would, and I'm going to put some annotation to it and hope that this will help. I'm sure that it will. It's got a lot of information in it. So I apologize that it's a little long, but I wanted to be sure and show you some pages that are actually from the NCLEX online application. So, okay, application for NCLEX and state. So you'll notice that there are two things listed there, NCLEX and state. So you're going to have to make two separate applications. One for the state application to take the exam and one for Pearson VUE in order to sit for the exam. So the state application versus the NCLEX application. State application is the ASB online application system up to 2 months prior to completion of your program. And I called Miss Tracy Busto, who informed me that the official end of our program is 12/18/15. So you've probably got another week before you need to start applying for your testing. You must register with the testing service and you must pay your fee when the online application comes up and asks you for that. Be sure that if you are going to pay by check or by electronic check, that you have your check with you that has your routing number and your account number on it. If you're going to pay by debit card, be sure you have your debit card. And if you're going to pay by credit card, be sure you have your credit card. And please don't ask me if you can pay cash. Of course you can't pay cash. Nobody can pay cash through the online system. It has to be either a transfer or something. So once you've completed your state application, which is what you should do first, then you're going to apply to the NCLEX application. This is the one where I told you you had to register with Pearson VUE. Pearson VUE, I'm giving you the web address for you to go on to register there. You have to pay that fee to that particular organization, which the fee for the NCLEX is $200. Your state application is $75 for the test, $25 if you want a temporary permit, and then I believe it's $38.50 now for the criminal background check. So the school codes that you will be asked for are online, and if you use the drop down boxes, which you should be use the drop down boxes, it will all be filled in for you, so you don't have to look those things up. So always use a drop down box if there's one available there. So applications for licensure, be sure you're providing the Social Security number when registering with the testing service. And when you it tells you that this is optional in your when you go to Pearson VUE to apply for the testing site, but please put your Social Security number in there. Your paperwork will be processed quicker with those Social Security numbers. Those of you with LPN license, which all of you in the online have LPN license, and some of you in the traditional have LPN license. You will have to know your Pearson VUE password from when you took your LPN NCLEX. Everybody probably went through Pearson VUE. If you did not, then you can create a new account. But most of you guys went through Pearson VUE if you took your set for boards in Arkansas. It's been that way for, I think, about 15, 20 years. So maybe not 20, about 15 years. So be sure that you get your password before you attempt to sign up for the NCLEX. at Pearson VUE because you have already created an account, and it gets very confused when you start to create and try to go in there to take your RN licensure, because it's taking you to your new account that you did your LPN license. Once you get your password and you get into the Pearson VUE account, then it will ask you if you need to create a new account for taking another exam, and that's what you'll need to do. The authorization to test, ATT, is sent from Pearson VUE, and it will not be sent until after both the state application and the NCLEX registration has been complete. So you have to complete those two in order to get your authorization to test. So when we get started and we're wanting to do our online application system, how do we gain access to the online application system? Of course, we go to the Arkansas State Board of Nursing. So ASBN.org is where we're going to go to start the process for our application. Remember, the www.pearsonvue link is on the page before this one, and it's different than this one. So you will always, you have two different links that you will go to for two different applications for the NCLEX exam. Okay, so here when you go to the Arkansas State Board of Nursing, this is where you're going to start your application process. If you look up here, you have licensing and forms. If you want, you can access either one. I personally think accessing the licensure is a lot, has a couple of less steps, but you can do it either way. You can access your form on either side. You're not really concerned with all this other stuff. Down here where it says online services is where you're going to go next. Go to application. And so what are you applying for? Well, you're not applying for advanced practice. So you want to go past all these. You're not endorsing from another state. You are taking an examination. So you want to click on your examination. So this is where your application is going to be found. So then you're going to click on the examinations, and it'll take you right straight to the next. So if you click on the licensing tab, then it will progress to this screen where you're going to click under this screen, examination. And it gives you some information here that I'm going to repeat later, but it will tell you all of this in the process of your application. It takes a few steps to get to the actual application. So you're going to click on the examinations if you're in that one. If you click on forms, then it will take you to the online services, and then you will again progress to examination application. If you'll notice down here with this green arrow, other online services, says check application status. This is to check the status of your application. State Board of Nursing does not want you to call them. They don't want you to call the state, Arkansas State Police. They will post any new information to this status, and you can check this status daily, even though they may not be putting anything daily. They'll only put things up when they get new information to put there. But don't be calling State Board of Nursing expecting them to be able to answer you. They are processing several hundred applications at a time. So, where's the instructions? Where are we going to find them? Of course, you'll get initial instruction when you get to the examination page. Be sure that you read those instructions very carefully as you're filling out this form, because if you fill out one thing wrong, it's going to kick back. So you want to be sure that everything's correct. You apply for the right college, you apply for the right degree. So be sure that you're looking through that very carefully. So applications for licensure and certification. This is the screenshot of the initial page. All of these are samples. They don't represent the entire application, and I've just taken these from the State Board of Nursing to give us just an example of what we're going to be going through. So this tells you right off the bat that these are the qualifications to use the online system, which all of you qualify for that. What it does say to you that's covered up, kind of, is that the accepted payment method is with a credit card or an e-check. So be sure you have that bank and routing number. All fees are non-refundable. If you're sitting on the fence and you feel like you're being dragged to more on I may not pass than I may pass, you may want to talk to Dr. Ball and tell her that you would like to wait until closer to time to graduation to fill out this form. Those of you who are pretty sure that you're on your way need to go ahead and get this one filled out. So you want to click on continued and go to the next page. This is where you start filling out this information. This did not print very well when I printed it off of the website, but you can see over here it has drop down boxes. Please use the drop down boxes. Put your last name, suffix. This is if you want to be called Mr., Mrs., whatever. You don't have to select one because it says optional. You don't have to put in a middle name because it says optional. Maiden name is optional. Of course, I know some of you will go by your maiden name, so that's okay. If you've got it up here as your last name, you don't have to repeat it down here. And then, of course, your social security number, your date of birth, and they even showed you how to write it 0101 2010 or whatever your birth date is. Then birth city. This is your city. This is not your state because you're applying for the Arkansas state. So they want to know just the birth city, and you have to type that one in. Then your next thing is to choose the state, drop down box. Birth country, if it's not United States, drop down box. Gender drop down box. Be sure you're using these drop down boxes because it will code some of these things in for you. Then type in your physical address, choose your state, type in your zip code, and again anything with these boxes should be there. So then you're going to select the type of license or certifications you wish to apply for. The thing that you're definitely going to want to apply for is going to be registered nurse. So you want to be sure that you mark registered nurse. Have you ever held this licensure before? No. You hold an LPN license, but you do not hold the certification license. So be sure that you mark no. And then you continue to fill out the information. I skipped a page. This is the same thing. That's just showing how Ms. McCumpsey went in and filled it out to just give you a little bit of a, and it tells you that you will not be able to progress if any required data fields are left blank. So it won't let you go. The zip code's required, mailing address is required, daytime phone number is required. Be sure you have a valid email that you check often, that you use, and be sure that you verify that. And then, of course, be sure about your social security number. All those are required. Only the ones with optional written beside them are not. Now, it's going to go on and ask you about your education, history, and questions. Name of your educational program. When you hit this drop down button right here, it will open up to a whole bunch of colleges. And University of Arkansas Community College is in there twice. One is for the PN degree and one is for your AD degree. So be sure that you select the UACCB one that says ADRN or Associates RN. Do not select the PN. It is very important you do that. Once you select the correct program, it will automatically populate the program code right here. So that's why you don't want to type it in. You don't want to have to go look up that code, and it will automatically populate that for you. And then your location of your program is going to be Batesville, Arkansas. Type of program, you're going to click on that and you'll be able to select what type of program it was, or it is, which is an associate degree program. Date entered program, you guys will be putting month, that should be 01/2015. And then date completed or graduated. Again, this is the date that Ms. Bustos gave me that we are to put down as completion date, is 12/18/2015. This gives her time to make sure all the transcripts are complete in their entirety. And so when you make sure that you want to check these twice to be sure you've got everything you need to have on here. So be sure that you've got the correct nursing program and that you have the right dates in here. And here is where, if you click on the little dot, this is what it'll look like. And of course they're all in alphabetical order, so it didn't show you. You see, I keep wanting to scroll this up for you, but it only goes through the S's, so you'll just keep going. You'll notice that North Arkansas College has PN degree, and then North Arkansas College RN ADN. Well, yours should say University of Arkansas Community College RN ADN. So that's what you're going to be looking for, not for the PN. So be very careful with that, or you'll be given an attempt to test for the PN program, and you definitely don't want to do that. Then you have to answer all these personal questions. If you answer yes to any of these, which I'm hoping we all just go no, no, no. But if I was to answer yes to any of these, then it would drop down and ask me more questions. So if I happen to answer yes here, there would be several more questions dealing with this question. So you will have to fill out everything before you can move on to the next one. So once you get them all filled out, you continue on. And this is just showing you that, like, if she did click yes for being convicted of a misdemeanor or felony, or pled guilty or non-contender to any charge in any state, you have to tell them everything. Even if you had something expunged, they can get it. So you have to tell them everything. If you were arrested on a charge and it was dismissed, you still have to put it in here. And you'll see that she answered yes, and then it will say, it'll ask you some more questions. And so you just continue on until it does that. So if you answer yes to any of these questions, you have to submit a letter of explanation. And there is a cover letter, or cover letter that goes on to what you're going to fax to them. And if you'll look at this, you must submit an explanation and a certified copy of all pertinent records, court, military, anything that has been official, and then send it to the State Board of Nursing to their actual address. They don't want you to fax it. They want you to send the actual documents. So eligibility to test is not going to be given to you until all that's complete and it's been approved by the board. So, application for licensure, we're going to pick exam because we want to take an exam. We're not doing endorsement, we're doing exam. Do you want a temporary permit? Yes or no? We'll go over the temporary permit and whether or not you should get one later on in this little PowerPoint. This says, have you ever been licensed as a nurse? Well, yes, y'all are LPNs. So be sure you put yes, where you got your licensure, what year you got your license, that it's an LPN license, and that your number is here, the actual name it's under, and if you have any additional states. So, year you got your license, the state where you got your license, your LPN, the license number. So be sure that you have your license number for your LPN before you start this process. And then they're going to come up and let you review everything that you have filled in, so that if you need to edit it, you can do it here. So right here where it says edit personal information, you can edit it. And then it's going to come up and it'll show what you've asked for, and that you can go back and edit if you need to edit anything. So say you wanted to go back and change this, that you were licensed and you forgot, which is very unusual. You could edit that. And then you can go back and edit that. Now we're saying no for the RN exam. We're saying yes to the LPN exam. So you have been licensed for the LPN, but you have never taken the RN NCLEX. So it is no, 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 no. And be sure that you check this little box here. Alert, verify that all above information is accurate. Once you have checked it all, be sure that you say yes, all that's correct. And so then we're going to be given the option to pay, and it tells you what the list of items you're paying for. You're paying $38.50 for your criminal background. You're paying all those fees I told you before. And be sure that, you know, if it's not charging you for your temporary permit and you wanted a temporary permit, then something's not right. And it's really hard to go back and edit at this time, but you want to be sure that you're looking at that. Once you click on Pay Now, it's going to come up and ask you the name as it appears on your debit card, credit card. There is an option to pay by e-check, but this is not given. I'm not showing that option right here, but this is the credit card information because she chose to pay by credit card. Be sure you fill all this out, and you'll notice Arkansas Gov total is $141.08. They charge you a processing fee, so be prepared. It will most likely be that. So here is your confirmed payment. Payment summary. This is what you're going to do. Payment status incomplete as of this time. So you want to check all this and make sure it's complete. And then you go and you have to hit submit. So be sure that, let me back up here. Right here you have to hit submit before it will complete. Now, once that completes, it'll print you out it will send you an automatic receipt to the email that you've listed. Now they're going to ask you about criminal background checks. If you want to add another license to your application, you have to click on this. But we don't usually do anything with this one. We go to the criminal background checks. Do not check this box. It says click here if you have a current criminal background check on file with the Board of Nursing. The criminal background checks that you have done for us this semester or this year have not gone to the State Board of Nursing. They're simply for our information. So do not check this box. Leave it blank. And then you will be ready to move on to the next one. Then you are going to have to consent. So you want to make sure that you have checked this box, that you consent to the following background check. So again, you fill out all this information. Then they will give you the summary telling you your payment is complete, that the $138.50, your status is complete, your order date, the confirmation number, and the most important little number of all is your INA number. Remember, this one goes, and it always starts with BON, Board of Nursing, BON, and a bunch of zeros and a number. So be sure that you write this number down before you click print. And there is a print function that you can go up and click on print. But if you click the wrong print, it won't print. So be sure you write this number down so you'll be able to write it on your fingerprint card and be able to put it in your NCLEX when you go to Pearson VUE. Okay? And I've reminded you again that it goes in the FBI box in the upper right hand corner. Be sure it's on there before you submit that to the Arkansas State Police. Okay, the graduate, which is you, yay, the graduate, don't that sound wonderful? Does not need to. You should not be forwarding or sending ASBN your automatic notification of your attempt test. They get it. Don't call them or mail them or notify ASBN of completion of the program. Ms. Candler has to do that. If you are wondering if you have had your program completion verified, then you must talk to Ms. Candler. These cannot be verified until the transcripts are completed, which we are hoping they will be completed by the 16th or the 18th, but they won't be completed before then, so there's no point in calling before then. What you do need to do is be sure that once your application has been processed, check the status of your application, checking that application status on the ASBN website. After, allow them several weeks to process your application, and this is after verification of program completion, and Ms. Candler will do this, not the date you submitted the application. Allow the other variables allow for the other variables that may impact how long your licensure is going to take, or attempt test is going to take. If you had anything positive in your criminal background check, you had to send in papers, that is definitely going to keep you from getting an attempt test until it's gone to the board and they have reviewed to see if they're going to allow you to do that criminal background check, or allow you to test with that criminal background. Or if you fail to register with Pearson VUE, they're not going to process your application until you've registered with Pearson VUE. Know that the status is not updated daily, only when new information comes along. And know that a temporary permit is not going to be issued, or you're not going to be eligible to test prior to verification of program completion and clearance of those background checks. So transcripts requirements. The applicant can be scheduled to test and deemed eligible without official transcripts on file at ASBN. A permanent license is not issued without an official transcript on file at ASBN. So you can test without, you can be scheduled to test and deemed eligible to test without the official transcript being there, but the official transcript has to be there for you to get your permanent license. So your temporary permit, new graduates are eligible for a temporary permit. It will expire 90 days after you receive it, or as soon as you take your examination and the results are known. And if you fail, you will not keep your temporary permit. So either way, if you pass or fail, you will lose your temporary permit on the day you take your exam. The temporary permit is only issued within the first 3 months following the program completion. So if your program completion was December the 18th, then 3 months from that date, you could apply for a temporary permit, but after that, after 3 months, you cannot. Background checks must clear, and your graduate must be registered at the Pearson VUE Testing Services. answering yes to any of the screening questions or having that positive background check, blah, blah, blah. I went too far. You won't receive your temporary permit and you won't be eligible to take the NCLEX until cleared by ASBN. We have had people with positive background checks that went through the process when they were LPN and they actually got to take their test earlier. We have had those that have had to go through a 6 month process trying to get all the information and things that the state board required. So if you have any questions after listening to this, just send me a message in Blackboard and I'll try to get back with you, or talk to Dr. Ball. Either one of us can help you. I've been doing this for several years, so hopefully I'm giving you all the information you need. Be cautioned that you read all those. Just go by your application very slowly, very carefully. No interruptions, nobody distracting you. You need to be sure that you're answering all of those completely like I explained with each one of the PowerPoints. And I know you guys are going to do great. Awesome.